All right. And I think I'll just share. I have it. I have the paper just already up on my. Okay. So can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So listen to one or more of the following songs. So we kind of did you listen to any, Mark?
Yeah, I've heard most of all these songs.
Okay. So because we were talking about Johnny Be Good from so Chuck Berry sings it, but in Back to the Future, and I don't know who is actually singing it, but I know it's not Michael J. Fox. He's lip syncing somebody else's version. So I just don't think it's Chuck Berry, but anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say we all know that Marty McFly sung that song. So
Yeah, Marty McFly sung that song. Woohoo! All right. Uh, we actually listened to a little bit of Duke Ellington's "Take the Train," A Train. Um, so, all right. How do you think these styles of music became so popular despite the racial discrimination of the time?
I think a lot of it, excuse me, like during this time, there's a lot of racial discrimination and a lot of hatred between people. But this kind of music, I mean, it's just like, it's happy. You can move to it. It just kind of makes you feel good. That even though it's by an artist of like a different race, it's something that made them feel good. So I
Right.
think the racial line kind of was more like a gray area, in my opinion, when it came to music. Just because,
Yeah.
if someone likes it, they're going to listen to it.
Okay. That's a good point because most people only heard it. There was no MTV showing you who was singing. If you heard a song on the radio, you had no idea who was singing it.
I mean, unless the name was like completely foreign, then you wouldn't have any idea. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't in this time, like, some people sometimes change their name because, like, say it was like too difficult to pronounce or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
some people might change their name or for a cover, so that way no one knew who was actually singing it.
Right. So one thing that I think that helped avoid the discrimination is, for the most part, when you first heard the song, it was probably on the radio. It probably wasn't. But I have to say that, like the popular shows of the time that so like radio shows would highlight different singers, but they didn't say, "Oh, and here is the black, Chuck Berry." They would say, "Just here's Chuck Berry." I mean, so you wouldn't know, at that time. So the only way you would know is if they actually were on like a TV show, like the uh, who the Beatles was on Uncle Milton Berle show. Is that what it was?
I wouldn't know.
Well, no. So there were a
Yeah.
couple of different shows that would have singers come on and sing, and at that point on TV you would be able to see like a variety hour and stuff. But if you were just listening to the radio or you didn't have a TV, you might never know.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mark, any thoughts?
I think that music transcends gender, or not gender. That's another class that I was just working on. Music transcends race.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think that I don't really think that you can define music by race, because there's so many elements of music that come from everything. And
Right.
like, even music nowadays, you listen to, artists like a recent artist is 21 Pilots. You know, you listen to his music, and I mean, there's so many different elements of genres in that music that is just it's amazing how it's fused together. And you know, artists like Chuck Berry, Duke Ellington, you know, they were the ones who you know, they brought more upbeat, you know, soulful sounds to the world that, you know,
Right.
I mean, and it's good music, so why wouldn't it be popular?
Right. Another thing that I just thought of is you don't even know. So, like some of the songs, you don't know who actually wrote the song. I mean, I didn't go and look and see who wrote "I Got You, I Feel Good." I don't know if James Brown actually wrote the song or if he sang it from somebody else. So sometimes the singers are singing songs that somebody else wrote. I mean, they add their own twist to it, but you never know who wrote it. And so that, I think that also leads to having it be uh, just different races, because, you know, you could have a really great song written by, you know, an Asian person and have somebody that's Mexican sing it, if that makes sense. I mean, so it's not, the singers aren't looking for songs that are only written by a certain ethnic group, right? They're looking for songs that will touch you or lift you. I mean, you know, with a heavy beat, or, you know, they're looking for their sound. And, you know, so I don't know how many of you have ever seen The Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond. Anybody?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
All right. So anyway, I really like the songs in it, but anyway, so he was influenced by a whole bunch of different people. But the point I wanted to make is he was a Jewish cantor who was, you know, writing songs, and he went to California because somebody bought one of the songs that he'd written, but they wanted him to come and change it to make it faster because they wanted to make it a rock and roll song, not a love song. He had written it as a ballad, and they wanted it to be a heavier beat. So I think a lot of times, you know, you see a song, you like the words, or you change it up to fit your style. So I think that's true with any type of, you know, musical genre that you have going on. That's why you have crossovers. Like if you ever listened, when I was a kid, we listened to the top 40, and you would have crossovers from country, or, you know, or from the disco, or, you know, the soul or the R&B. They would cross over onto mainstream, you know, top 40. And so there's a lot of times where music will cross over, and I never once heard Casey Kasem say, and here's the black group, the Supremes, singing "Come See About Me." I never once heard Casey Kasem say a race on the program. So I would never have known unless I had seen them on TV. So, or bought their album. So, so that really dates me because I would have bought a vinyl album. So, all right. So, how does music overcome some elements of social distance?
I think kind of what we were talking about. I mean, it does overcome it because music's always been something that kind of brings people together. You know, people get to enjoy some of the same things, and they get to share it. And, you know, in this time, like you both were saying, you know, you don't really know what the person looks like due to radios and all that being the main way of listening to stuff. I think it just kind of relieved a lot of discrimination based on who sings what and what could and couldn't be on the radio. So, I don't know. It's just something that's lively, and it's something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So,
Mark, do you have anything?
I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but it's something that anybody can like it. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. I can like rap. I can like country. I can like all these different sounds. All these different sounds that are predominantly one ethnicity predominantly produces.
Right.
Like I don't have to be black to enjoy rap, or I don't have to be necessarily white to enjoy country. It can be anything. So music just brings people together, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you like it, you like it.
Yeah. All right. So, because I like the song Baby Shark. You guys have to look Baby Shark up and watch the little Oriental kids do Baby Shark.
oh, yep. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, I love that song. Okay, so not only have African American styles of music become mainstream, they've also shaped the overall structure and sound of pop music as a whole. Non-African American artists regularly include elements of traditional African American styles such as rap or gospel in their songs. So, let's see. Have you guys listened to any of these?
Yes. I know all those.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I've heard probably. I probably have heard the Ariana Grande song, but it's not coming to my head right now. Obviously, I know Imagine Dragons that song very well.
Okay. Okay, and I'm going to tell you I haven't heard any of them.
Then again, I am the youngest, and I do know a lot of these.
I mean, I know who the Imagine Dragons are. I just haven't listened to the song that's right here. And I know who Ariana Grande is, but I haven't listened to that song. So.
That's okay. It's not a very good song.
So anyway, okay. How do you think this reverse assimilation influences current interaction between African Americans and other racial groups? You know what reverse assimilation is, right? Where the main dominant group takes in some of the minority or the other ethnic groups. So how do you think this reverse assimilation influences current interaction between African Americans and other racial groups?
I think the Imagine Dragons actually did a song with I think Kendrick Lamar. I think that's who it was. And they were doing their version of the song, and he added some rap into the song, and it blew up. Like, it was a huge hit. It was a great rock rap crossover song. It's kind of the same way with Aerosmith when they did.
With the Beastie Boys.
With Run DMC.
Oh, Run DMC. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
was it Walk This Way?
Yeah, and it just shows that it can go either way, right? Like, one group can cross over to one side, the other another group can cross over to another side, or they can be fused together. It doesn't really. I don't think it's really the reverse assimilation as it is kind of fusion of those sounds.
Right.
I think it's kind of interesting because even if you think about it now, a lot of the music that was popular back then is starting to become popular again. And it's so interesting. I mean, everyone knows the Temptations. My girl, they all know. I don't think I've ever met a person who hasn't heard that song. And there's just a lot of like Black influences. I mean, the Jackson 5, everyone pretty much knows who they are.
Right.
Stuff like that. A lot of songs that were popular back then are still popular now. And because they're so influential, people are starting to, kind of use that in their favor to make their songs popular. So they use the same sounds, or they use kind of the same idea, whereas like Ghost by Ella Henderson, I mean, I don't really associate that. I mean, it is kind of gospel, but not really. I mean, in my opinion. But, I mean, like, a lot of the words are kind of more gospel, but the sound isn't.
Oh,
But, so, it's just interesting how that song, how am I trying to say this? I think when I think of, like, gospel, I do a lot of times think of, like, those Black Baptist churches that are just, like, having fun and everything and clapping their hands, shouting hallelujah, and now people are, like, having gospel music. And they're just, I don't know, just different races. I don't want to use, like, Black per se, but they're a very influential group or ethnicity when it comes to music, because I think their music is a lot more lively. A lot of the times it's a lot more, I don't know, inspirational to listen to. But I think it could also create more influences like in the future, and who knows, they might be adding sounds from like their native countries. I mean, that's starting to become a thing, and it's just so interesting. I mean, I personally love listening to it.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, do you think this cultural assimilation is likely to lead to another type of reverse assimilation, like structural, psychological, or biological? Music does transcend race. It does. So I think that that's an easier one to accept. I'm not so sure about the other ones, just because those are harder than the cultural assimilation for music. I think that music, like we've been talking about, it transcends everything. So it's more acceptable. And I think that it's easier to like appreciate. I think that Whitney Houston was a fantastic singer. I think that she was really great. And like, I know guys my age just were like drooling all over how beautiful she was. So I think that that can lead to other things, but I think it's a lot harder to bridge, but music helps do the bridging, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to go the other way. Like for example, like rap and hip hop. It's mainly low income, ghetto type.
Yeah.
Artists. Where they had the struggle growing up. And they use that in their music, and that's where other people connect with it, and maybe there's some reverse assimilation going on that way. But as far as like structural, I think everyone's just trying to assimilate out of that. So not necessarily assimilate back to their roots. Like when the artists get more rich and get more famous, like Jay-Z. He started out as a kid from the ghetto, who
Right.
now he's a media mogul. Him, Sean Puffy Combs. They
Yeah.
are, they're pivotal, people right now in the recording industry. But they started out, as nobodies, and I think that they assimilated the other way, but not necessarily back the other way, where nobody really wants to go that way.
So structural, as far as I understand, is unintentional, but so assimilation. So that's why I struggle with this. I guess I'm struggling with that thought of it being unintentional, right? Isn't structural unintentional?
I think so. I can check.
Sorry, I'm looking it up, trying to find it. So while I'm looking, did you guys watch the Rachel Dolezal or whatever her name is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did you guys think of her while I'm still looking?
I'm thinking of the right thing. Wait, is that the video for this week?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't watched that yet. I'm seriously just getting to this homework. Sorry.
Did you watch it, Mark?
Yeah, I watched it. I even know I knew about that before.
I did too. I mean, I had already known about it, so I'm having a hard time writing about it.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts on it was, even in that interview, she said that she did what she did to survive. So I think that she's kind of playing a victim mentality a little bit,
Well, and I had a hard time writing about it because, so she was a victim as a white person, and then she's a victim as a Black person. So I kind of struggled because even though she said that she identified as being in the Black ethnic group, she also played a white card. So I really struggled with that. Okay, so structural assimilation at the secondary level. Let's see. By residential patterns, club memberships, friendships, cliques, intermarriage. So I think that we do see, some of that happening. I mean, like, what's the famous? Where's the Masters played? Did they find some place where one of the major golf tournaments played? It finally has allowed Black members.
Yeah, is it Torrey Pines?
I can't remember, but anyway, it is opening up, and I don't know if that's necessarily reverse assimilation structurally, or I guess reverse assimilation would be where white people would go into a Black country club. Would that be reverse?
Yeah, I think so, where it's like exclusively Black, and then white people are starting to go there.
Right. So I think that's harder. I mean, I don't think it's not happening, but I just think that it is harder. Okay. as a group, list 3 specific examples of reverse assimilation from other areas of African American culture like food, television, film, language, clothing, literature, etc. Okay, so reverse assimilation. Where have we gone? I mean, where the dominant group has gone specifically towards the black, besides music? So I have an example. And tell me if you think this is true. Chicken and waffles.
So good. But yeah, no, I definitely see that. That's definitely
fried chicken is definitely a Southern black. So fried chicken and waffles. I don't know if that's really true, but I know fried chicken. I mean, and you have tons of places with fried chicken, right?
So it's so funny because I work with a lot of black people, and it was like legit. They all got into an argument about which was the better chicken place.
So who won?
I was it was I don't remember. I just remember like you know, them having the conversation. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's a stereotype for a reason.
Well, and so I have to say it's true. So we had a black ethnic dinner, and so the black ethnic group on campus for Black History Month got to pick what they wanted to have. Fried chicken, because that is, and this is from the black people on campus, they want to have fried chicken. So fried chicken, I'm going to have to say fried chicken, not necessarily chicken and waffles, but fried chicken. And that is a black ethnic food that white America has embraced, right? You have to say we love fried chicken. I mean, you're right. There are tons of fried chicken places. I mean, you know, tons. So yeah, I mean, it's just that's not even okay. So fried chicken. Okay, what else?
I think a lot. I think also, mostly I guess with girls would be like hairstyles. Because I mean, one of my friends who's African American, she always had to have her hair in like braids and stuff like that. And the girls that I went to school with, especially when we were younger, they were like, "Oh my gosh, like I want my mom to do my hair like that," and it kind of became a thing. So that's, I mean, hairstyles, or even like just or clothing styles as well, like kind of the ghetto look. That's kind of also become.
All right, so I'm gonna say okay. Clothing. We're gonna say the ghetto look. What is the ghetto look? I guess I don't know.
I mean, kind of where I'm from, it's like where your pants are like halfway down your legs and oversized sweatshirts, the chains, the hats.
Let's go with the hats. The flat brim hats.
Yeah. And like the big shoes. I don't know.
And I have to say the big hoop earrings. And I have to tell you that, so depending on where you're located, because I really love big hoop earrings, but I have to say that there was a black person that somebody else was wearing big old hoop earrings, and they said that they were like wannabes, and that's a black thing, and not white people shouldn't be wearing hoop earrings.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, big hoop earrings. Okay.
I think
Okay. Mark, got anything?
I think a recent one is when it comes to film, the Black Panther.
Oh.
Oh.
We just had Halloween, and there was one story that came up where I can't remember who said it, but somebody said, like their white kid wanted to be the Black Panther, and like, yeah, that's fine. The director of the Black Panther said that anybody can be the Black Panther. It doesn't matter what race you are. So, that's, typically most superheroes have been white, so to have now white kids looking to a black superhero and wanting to emulate that person, I think that's huge.
Okay. I really can't. Well, other than, okay, so I have to say language, and I'm going to just say this. The one that ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time for that.
And I work with several black ladies, and they say that all the time. Ain't got time for that. Ain't got time for that.
I definitely say that a lot.
So, but I think that, and so I don't know. I know where I heard it the first time, and it was from like something that was on YouTube, like,
oh yeah,
like the black lady whose home was broken into or something, and then she said she ain't got time for that. And anyway, so but it really spurred that whole saying. It may have been around before, but then all of a sudden it was oh yeah. So, all right, last question. Why do you think music has been the element to make the largest influence on mainstream American culture and not some other area of African American culture? I think we already covered it because it just transcends. I pretty much feel like this is just a repeat of, like, maybe touching on what we've already said.
Yeah.
It's just to cap it off.
Yeah. Well, rap is cool, right? Like, kids want to be rappers. It's a cool cool thing.
So yes, my sons wanted to be rappers. I get that. And yeah, did I think it was great? Oh no, it made my ears bleed. The only one I even really liked was, and they're not like super rappers, it's the Run DMC, right? So those are the only ones I really liked. I didn't like any of the other ones, but
it emulates a cool lifestyle, right? It emulates a lifestyle of and extravagance and
gangsta.
Yeah, right. Like I think it's the music, it's the beats, it's the lifestyle. I think those are all things that that draw it to that specific genre, maybe above all others.
So, all right, Ashley.
I just think music, something like I said earlier, it just brings people together. And I think with like the influence that the African Americans have had, it's just brought us all together. And like their like rap, or even if it's like the doo-wop or the blues or anything, like there's like there's some sort of music for everyone, and I often find that a lot of Black artists are just a lot better than a lot white artists, which is really refreshing to me. And I think music's something that you hear absolutely everywhere. You hear it in the streets, or you have your headphones in, or you're in the car, and I don't know, you just hear it everywhere. That I think it has an influence on each person individually, depending on what kind of music they listen to. And so it's just a good way to have some sort of assimilation where each group has some sort of influence on one another. And I think that's why music is one of the biggest elements, honestly, to make that influence on American culture.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I will, did you guys make a list of this, or do you want me to send you a copy of the list that we made?
I can just take a picture of it.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm looking for I don't have my phone on me, but I'm looking for
I mean, I can just send it to you.
Okay, that works.
So I'll just send it to you after I get the recording done. I'll just send it to you.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. All right, Ashley, did you get your copy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll see you guys next week. I think I have one more date scheduled. Do you want me to finish scheduling out the rest of the semester?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Mark, are you okay with that?
Yeah. Since dude, I could probably do it, but it'd probably take me a little bit of time to figure it out. So.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I'll just go ahead and just plug in the rest of the dates so we have them at least ready to go, and then it'll just be the same site, so we don't have to worry about it. So.
Sure.
Okay.
I can facilitate next week too. I appreciate you facilitating, Lisa. You've been doing a great job.
Oh, sure, no problem. Hey, so Thanksgiving. So we're doing it the night before. Is everybody going to be okay with that? Because we still have to meet that week. So you may want to think about that. And next week we can talk about it if we need to change times or something.
Yeah, I might have to change time. I'll definitely have family in town.
Okay. Mark?
I'm okay with whatever. I'm not going anywhere. So if we need to move it up, then to accommodate Ashley, I'm okay.
Thanks. Sorry, guys. I don't want to make everyone's life miserable.
No, it's okay. So I don't have to work that day, but Mark, if you have to work that day, we can still meet at night.
I'm actually off that day.
Okay. So Ashley, if we need to change times or something, just, figure out, and then next week, let's talk about it. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, thanks. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah.